Teachers who offer psychosocial support are able to help students develop resilience, emotional well being, and a sense of belonging. Ultimately, these enhance overall academic performance and personal growth. Hello everyone, my name is Bianca Reyes and welcome to QC Teachers Tayo para sa paghilom, pagbangon at pag-asa. Many teachers find it extra challenging to provide psychosocial support to students in today's classroom because of large class sizes, limited resources, time constraints, and a general lack of training among teachers in the field of mental health and psychological first aid. For this reason, the Miriam College Center for Peace Education and the Department of Psychology bring you this webinar entitled Mental Health and the Psychosocial Support. Allow me to introduce our speaker for today. Dr. Jerry J. Jurisprudencia is a professor of psychology at Miriam College. He finished his PhD in clinical psychology from Ateneo de Manila University. Dr. Jerry has gone around the country conducting seminars in team buildings and group dynamics training. He is a sought-out speaker on topics related to parenting, stress management, and abusive relationships. He also has given workshops on mental health, mindfulness, classroom management, and career guidance, among others. A multi-awarded educator, licensed psychologist, and registered guidance counselor, Dr. Jerry is a certified specialist in clinical psychology, a distinction given to him by the Psychological Association of the Philippines. Dr. Jerry is married to an educator, and together they have two empowered daughters. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Jerry J. Jurisprudencia. Hi, Dr. Jerry. We're very excited for your talk. Could you tell us your objectives?
Hi, Miss Bianca. Good day to you and to all our participants in today's webinar. I hope this will really be very helpful for everyone, especially those who are teaching. Now, our webinar has three objectives. One is to capacitate our QC teachers to become mental health advocates. Okay. Second, to empower our QC teachers to use mental health framework in classroom teaching. And third, to help our teachers make use of the mental health framework in creating safe spaces in the classroom. So these are the three objectives of our talk today. So
wow, what a timely topic, Sir Jerry. We're all eyes and ears. So, Doc Je, the virtual floor is now yours.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bianca. Okay. Once again, I just would like to share with you once more the objectives of this webinar. But before I go further, I just would like to thank our team, especially the group of Dr. Gail Galang, who initiated this program to help our QC teachers. Okay, and it's an honor to be a part of this program, and I hope that my knowledge will truly be helpful for our teachers in today's challenge. So, okay. Now, you know for a fact that when we were in the period of the pandemic, okay, we experienced a lot of challenges and problems, okay, left and right. And to simply put our webinar in context. So where is this webinar in context in relation to the situation that we have right now? Okay. So just to show you what is happening in our healthcare system in the Philippines. So I don't know if you're aware that we only have 400 psychiatrists nationwide. Okay, we only have 3,000 licensed guidance counselors uh, all over the country, despite the fact that we hear that we have many board passers every year, but it didn't still exceed the 4,000 number. We only have 2,500 licensed psychologists all around the country. And our medical professionals are also getting overwhelmed. Not only our doctors, but even our nurses are already migrating abroad. No? And just to put this all together, they didn't even reach 10,000 in number. And how many Filipino population do we have right now in the Philippines? I think we have 110 million Filipinos vis-a-vis 10,000 mental health professionals. Okay? And as I have said, how many schools do we have all over the country? We have 45 public schools all over the country. So this was what the lamentation of one deaf ed educator I talked to. Sabi niya, I am so happy that we are already graduating a number of guidance counselors, reaching 3,000. But if you look at it, it cannot even fit the 45,000 schools that we have all over the country. And sad to say, 90% of our guidance counselors are based in the big cities. And we don't even have guidance counselors in many public schools, no, in other parts of the country. And I think this is also shared by our Quezon City DepEd, no, teachers. Not all our schools in Quezon City have licensed guidance counselors, nor do they have licensed psychologists. So you just can't imagine the challenge that we are faced with. And because of this is now what the World Health Organization is projecting, that the next crisis will not anymore be the COVID pandemic. It will already be the mental health crisis, because not enough professionals are there to respond to the needs of the Filipinos. So what about the QC teachers? No? Now that we are starting to open our schools, okay, we are inviting students back in the classrooms. No, they may look like they are okay. No, smile, they seem to be excited, and yet, no, deep down or behind that smile, we may not see that many of them may be hanging by the thinnest of threads. No, as a matter of fact, in the last month, according to the National Center for Mental Health, no, there's an increased number of suicide cases in the National Capital Region. And not to mention, no records whatsoever being documented outside of Metro Manila. Now, so this is now a big challenge for many of us. So what can we do about it, especially for teachers? No, they seem to be excited to teach, but is it enough simply to teach? Because our students, okay, though excited to come back, may be carrying with them a lot of emotional burden, okay, not to mention other challenges that they experience. mental, physical, psychological, etc. So this is now the problem for many teachers. And therefore, because we might be facing with a mental health crisis and there's not enough professionals to fill in the position in schools, what are we going to do about it? Are we simply to be helpless, or are we be challenged and be proactive about it? I think this is now the response that I see that needs to be uh, answered by our QC teachers. No, okay. The challenge is: are you ready for a role shift this time? Okay, because teachers, okay, are the frontliners, no, the first line of defense of our population, no, our students. Okay, and therefore the role of teachers are not simply to teach. No, traditionally they think that when they welcome students, they will just teach, and the role of students is simply to listen. No? And the role of the teacher is simply to assess whether they pass or not, no? The performance. No? However, this time with the mental crisis, no, that is uh, impending, no, that we are faced with, we cannot simply remain uh, passive about this challenge, no? Because teachers are now called to shift role this time and be advocates of mental health. And to be a mental health advocate, what is uh, expected from our teachers? To be a mental health advocate, you are not only expected to teach, but this time you are also expected to listen and to guide. So, okay, so it's not anymore that you focus on the subject matter, but you focus on the person of the student himself or herself. It's not anymore that you will focus simply on the grades of the students in class, but rather how will this student with his strengths or her abilities be used so that he or she will be successful in life someday. So these are now the role that mental health advocates are trying to bring in the classrooms. So as teachers, no, you are now faced with this kind of role shift, because we cannot simply expect the depth ed to fill in and hire professionals, guidance counselors, or psychologists, because it will take years, no? Perhaps, but we cannot wait for this, no? But then teachers can still do something about it by advocating. And when you advocate, you may not really be right away solving all the psychological problems of students, but actually you are preventing, mitigating concerns of students from getting serious, because there are teachers who are empathetic, who are caring, who are there ready to help before the problems of students become severe and irreversible. So this is the challenge now that our teachers are faced with. Okay. So what is the model of the mental health advocacy? So like teaching, no, if teaching has its own framework, mental health has also its framework. And this is based from the World Health Organization framework. If you look at the World Health Organization, it has its metaphor, the wheel. Okay, so gone are the days when we think of mental health simply as somebody who is not sick, somebody who does not go to the hospital. Okay, that is the old mentality of what mental health is all about. When you think of mental health, it covers everything, because mental health is a state of complete physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. And if one is not addressed, it can affect the whole person. So this is now the concern. So if the teacher will simply focus on the cognitive mental ability of the student and forget his emotional, his psychological, his physical dimensions, he or she may not be defeating the purpose of helping the student succeed in life. Therefore, there is now a need for the teachers to have a new perspective, a new lens to look at every student that comes in the classroom. Okay, so you are not there simply to teach a subject. You are there to be a guide, to be a help, to be a facilitator in the life of the person. So this is now the role of the mental health advocates. And what do you want to see in our students? No, for teachers, there are four. If you can help the student uh, realize her potentials, okay, not just memorizing the subject matter, but her strengths, or she is able to realize those, he or she is able to cope with the challenges that he or she is faced every day. If he or she is able to be productive in the classroom, if he or she is able to help his or her family and the community, then as a mental health advocate, you are a winner. So these are the four elements by which mental health can be measured, whether your student is mental health is compromised or is put at risk. When uh, one of these elements are missing, then the mental health uh, condition of the client is compromised. So now, this is the reason why our mental health law is very important, because if you compromise the mental health of the individual, his or her productivity is affected, his energy is affected, he or she cannot perform. If she is stressed and overwhelmed, she will be vulnerable to getting sick, and that can be a problem later on that can affect society and the community at large. So that's why it's important to give importance to mental health in the classroom. Okay. Now, so what is mental health psychosocial support? Okay. When you are a mental health advocate, as I have said, you don't have to be a licensed guidance counselor. You don't have to be a licensed psychologist or a licensed psychometrician or a doctor or a nurse for that matter. You just have to be a teacher, but you are aware how to use the support tool that is provided and suggested by by the World Health Organization. So, what are the things that an advocate should be aware of? First, psychological. So your student is not just a person, but a person who thinks. He or she is a person who feels, and he or she is the person that acts. So this is covered by the psychological factors. Now, so If your student is not able to answer or problem solve or is affected inside the classroom, that can be triggered by another element. And these are the social factors. What is happening at home? What is happening in the environment, in the community? What is happening in the place where he or she lives? No, because that can also trigger or aggravate the condition of your student. And therefore, the World Health Organization is recommending a special kind of support, which is evidence-based. And this is what is called the psychological first aid. No? So, psychological first aid is the tools that every mental health advocate should be aware of, so that by applying or making use of them inside the classrooms, he or she can mitigate or can prevent the concerns of the students from getting serious. And if that may be beyond his or her capacity, he or she can always refer the student to a professional. So that is the meaning of the psychological first aid. So it's a first aid, no? But you have something, a tool that you can use of to help your students overcome, address, manage their concerns. Be mindful that every student has an agency. They have the capacity. So they only need to be supported. They only need to be empowered. And sometimes they may not be aware of this. And this is the role of the teachers, because they can observe their students. They are there. They have more time to observe their students than the parents at home. No? Students stay longer in school than at home. So this gives the teachers the opportunity to help their students face and manage concerns that may be very difficult in their lives. No? So this is the support that is evidence-based. So what is the first skill that every QC teacher needs to be aware of, that has to be embedded in you as a mental health advocate? First is the awareness, the preparation. Yes, now I am ready. I am taking responsibility of committing myself to be an advocate. Therefore, now I am shifting my role. I am not simply a teacher inside the classroom where I can just teach the subject, but I am here teaching about life itself. So what kind of preparation do I need? So the preparation is, you have to be conscious of the elements of where your students are coming from. This is what we call awareness. And one of the awareness is to be conscious that you are there not to be a judge to your student, that you are there to be open and not label anyone else. So maintain a non-judgmental attitude. Active attention means not making your own assumptions. Don't assume before you ask. No? If you think there are some doubts in your mind, you ask the student, where is my student coming from? How come he seems to have difficulty? Parang tulala siya. So I have to talk to the student later on after class, no, to find out why he has difficulty answering the lessons, rather than giving labels right away and telling this, bobo mo talaga, ang tanga-tanga mo, etc. Because it will not be helpful. Okay? So you have to put in mind the first important ethical consideration: do no harm. Okay? So assure confidentiality. If your student finds that you can be trusted, that they can open to you, then assure them that you can keep secrets. Assure them that their secrets are safe with you. Na hindi mo pwedeng i-marites sa ibang teachers, ito pala ang estudyante ko, ganito siya, ay maraming hiwalay ang parents, etc. Because that can even aggravate the situation of your students. So, unless you see that the student plans to harm herself or plan to harm somebody else, then you can break confidentiality, because life is more important than, okay, allowing your student to be harmed or allowing somebody to be harmed. So be sensitive where your students are coming from. Sometimes we may not be aware what kind of culture were they raised, okay? What kind of family environment did they come from? No? What kind of family do they have at home? We teachers have to be sensitive, okay? Because this is very important. As I have said, okay, the first element of mental health advocacy is do no harm to anyone. Okay. Now, the second skill that each mental health advocate has to imbibe is the ability to make use of her five senses. This is the second skill, observation. Okay? You have to keenly observe your student after assessing your readiness to be an advocate. Okay? Now, am I ready to observe my students? Okay. So student plus context means, okay, what are the importance of the five senses? So look at the physical appearance of your students. For example, bakit nang pumasok siya? This is a well-dressed student. And yet, how come the next day, bakit ang gusot-gusot ng kanyang damit? Ano nangyari sa kanya? Or, itong batang ito is a very bubbly student, and yet how come she suddenly became withdrawn? So, visual observation or physical observation. Bakit hindi naliligo itong batang ito? Bakit ang amoy-amoy niya? Okay? Hindi naman siya mabango, pero amoy imbornal. No? So, you take that into consideration and later on you may ask that, bakit gutom ang batang ito? Bakit hindi siya makasagot? Siguro wala siyang nakain sa bahay. So, these are very important data or information that the teacher need to identify, because this can help you understand where your student may be coming from. They may not be able to express their concerns, but what you see may already give you a clue as to what type of problems or concerns do they have at home. And perhaps later on, you may follow that up by meeting them individually after class. So, observation is very important. Okay? That's the second skill that a mental health advocate needs to imbibe. No? The third skill is the skill to listen. When we say listen, I mean not simply physical listening, but active listening. What is active listening? Before I say something, I have to repeat what exactly did my student say about what happened in his or her life, so that I can check myself if I really heard him or her correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did I hear you correctly? Baka mali yung interpretation ko. That is what we call by active listening. No? Don't hesitate to clarify. What do you mean by saying nawawalan ka na ng pag-asa? Okay? Don't assume. What do you mean by hindi ka na, ayaw mo na umuwi ng bahay? No? So what are the students' concerns? What are the feelings? No? Okay? What are the emotions are being evoked while they were telling you their problems? No? Or what are the inconsistencies? No? Okay? He was sharing with you about a very serious problem pero tumatawa pa siya. So seryoso, ito ano nangyari? Bakit pinatatawanan niya? So that you can later on explore that further because this will already give you a hint as to the kind of difficulty your students may be facing with, no? Especially if you have so many, no? Iba tagtatlong shifts of 60 students per class. So just imagine. So, but you are observing them, no? So as the teacher, you have more time to observe your students and take note. No, that just don't be conscious of your lesson plan. Also, be observant of the things that may be manifested by the students in class. Okay? And the fourth skill is linkaging. No? How to linkage how to refer your student to a professional. As I have said, you are not a licensed guidance counselor. You are not a licensed psychiatrist or a licensed psychologist. However, you are already developed a cue or a sign. My student seemed to be fearful of something at home. There was abuse existing at home. Or my student seemed to be depressed. Or there seemed to be bullying. Now, even if I may not be equipped to handle this, now I can refer my student to a more competent professional so that my student can be helped. So you don't have to do it yourself. What is important that you were able to do the psychological first aid. That's why it's called first aid. Kasi you just have to prevent, no, if not mitigate. But the serious ones, you right away refer. So when you think there are serious situations your students are faced with, don't hesitate to refer right away. Or you may call the attention of the principal. I think our students in section like this needs professional help. To whom do we refer our student? Do we refer the student to PMHA or do we refer the student to wherever, as long as they need professional help? So that is very important. That is the another skill that the mental health advocate has to be developed, no? As a proactive mental health advocate. Okay, and then what are the criteria? Okay, so just in case you may have difficulty, so look for this 4Ds, no? For to help you to make your life easy, so that it will not be difficult for you to refer. If you can see any of these 4Ds existing or experienced by your students, then your student has to be referred. One, the intensity of personal discomfort. No? So kung iyak lang siya na iyak, hindi niya na kaya, no? She does not want to go home anymore. So there's something wrong at home. Or she does not want to come to school anymore because there is somebody who threatened his or her life. So the intensity of discomfort is already a sign that your student needs to be referred. Or there is danger. So she plans to end her life or she plans to harm somebody. Then because it's beyond your competency, then you need to refer the student to a professional. Third, if the student is not anymore able to function, hindi na siya naliligo, or absent na siya na absent sa school, these are signs already that something is not right with the student, or he or she cannot submit assignments, no, and or she does not want to come to class or come to school. Then there seems to be a problem here. So there's a dysfunction that is already being manifested. And fourth, there is deviancy. So the thinking of the student is already something that is not typical or unacceptable to social norms, like wanting to destroy properties, or seeing things that are not there, or hearing things that are not there. Then this is a sign, an alert that you need to refer the student to a professional. Okay, so just be aware of these four criteria. Okay, so again, what's the acronym to remember as a mental health advocate? So there are four strategies to apply psychological first aid, and they are very easy to remember. Just remember the word POLL, P-O-L-L. So your preparation, your observational skills, your listening skills, and how to link students to a professional when you see that there is a need for them to be referred to. Okay. And so what's the summary? So as a mental health advocate, what are the things that you need to remember? Okay, first, that you are there to listen. You are not there to talk. That's the role of the teacher. As a mental health advocate, your role now is to listen. You have shifted. Okay? You are there not as a judge. As a teacher, you may judge by giving grades. This time, you are not a judge. You are accepting. You are validating your students. You pay attention to what is not being said, no? Aside from what is being said by the students, no? And accept the students' feelings, no? Validate. Don't say, kaya mo yan, ang dali-dali lang yan. If they are feeling low, then you have to validate. I know it's hard. You may be experiencing something difficult, no? You feel unhappy. Then validate the emotions first before you invalidate them, because that's a real, no, emotion, and therefore they need to be recognized. And then understand the student's world and feelings, no? Express that understanding, okay? And think about the student. So when you think about the student, that means to say, what are the things that the student is capable of doing to help herself? If you think he or she is not capable of helping herself, then it's time for you to refer. Okay? So these are the things that you need, no, to tell your student that you are there not only to make her mentally bright, but you are there to validate her existence. You are there to make her feel that you care. And you can show that by your openness and non-judgmental attitude. So definitely you can mirror that feeling. Definitely you can perhaps paraphrase the words or the phrases of your students so that you will be able to accurately capture if this is exactly what they mean, or to avoid misunderstanding or mislabeling. And so with that, I hope that the webinar was very helpful, and I hope that these four simple skills will surely prepare you to your new role as mental health advocates. Yes, we may not have guidance counselors right away, but as frontliners, you can also do something that is very important by mitigating, preventing the problems of students from getting into a serious mode, and helping them face and cope with the challenges that they have in life. So with this, thank you very much, and I encourage you to ask questions, and I will end my screen share this time.
Thank you, Dr. Jerry, for sharing with us your insights on how teachers can best take care of their well-being by developing these skills. I for sure was able to learn a lot as well. So we just have a few questions for you and would appreciate your brief answers. So first, since some public school teachers may not have guidance counselors, to whom should students go to if they have concerns related to mental health?
Okay, that's a very good question, Ms. Bianca. First of all, I think this is the role of the class advisors. No? Gone are the days when class advisors are simply there to correct, check record, assign students to clean the classroom, etc. Advisors are there also to check the mental health condition of each and every student that belongs to their responsibility. So if this is not, if you are not an advisor, even any teachers, for that matter, can also welcome students. Now, this is very, very important because, as I have said, our students have nowhere to go to. If they cannot trust anyone, I think that's the big problem in our institution today. I think this is what our teachers had to redeem back, no? That they get the trust of each and every student, and that they are there to be models, no? That mature adults that students can go to if ever they have problems. So this so advisors and teachers are encouraged to help students and see them after class if there is a need. So they have to inform students na, okay, it's not just my role here to teach you, but if you want to see me, not just to consult about the subject, but to see me and talk about anything, feel free to see me. I think that creates a safe atmosphere in the classroom.
Thank you, Doc Jerry. So for our second question, how can schools be more proactive in promoting positive mental health on campus?
Okay, that's another good question. There are some public schools who may not have mental health programs. I think that's really the responsibility of each public school, no, to have a mental health program. So a proactive way of doing it is by declaring that this public school is a safe space, a school for everybody. So they can perhaps put signages, no? So no bully zone, okay? So that students will feel that, oh, really, this is a safe space for us. Or they can create contests like essay writing, wherein they will talk about how to prevent bullying in school, or art exhibits talking about, no, how to make the classroom a safe space. So any activity for that matter. So they can start with that, no? And so they can start small. And if every teacher make that an assignment, no, for her or his section, and perhaps call the attention to the principal and make it a campus activity, I think that will really change everything, no, for the whole student population. Because it's one thing to simply go to school. It's another to feel that, oh, I am safe in this environment. I know that nobody will bully me here. Nobody will take advantage of me. I am safe. I can report any adult who will take advantage of me, etc. Because we are assured by our school authorities. So I think that is very important. That's a proactive way of creating a mental health free zone, safe space in the campus. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Especially for emphasizing that point about creating safe spaces for students' mental health. So
Yes.
for our last question, assuming that there are well-defined mental health programs in schools, the same support may not happen for students outside the campus. How can we help ensure the psychological safety of our students?
Yeah, that's another good question. It's a very real question, actually. As a matter of fact, no, when I had a talk with one school, they said, Doc J, we really implemented good mental health program in our campus, and yet when our students go out of the gate, the environment, the barangay is not safe. There are many bullies there, tambay, etc. I think there is a need for the school authorities to partner with the barangay authorities as well to put barangay tanod and make students feel that the environment, even outside of the school campus, is also safe. So hindi lang yan sa campus. No? So this has to be an LGU-wide campaign. No? So barangay where our schools are located. So some teachers kasi and principals are just concerned about their territory in the four walls of the school, but they are not aware na their students are getting snatched, robbed, etc., held up. So kailangan may partnership sa LGUs also. Kaya this is also important, no, na may MOA or MOU ang mga school authorities with the barangay na may ilalagay silang nagruronda ng mga tanod para when our students go to school, they will always face safe. That's it.
Thank you again, Dr. Jerry, for your very helpful and practical insights and for emphasizing that it is really a shared responsibility by the entire school faculty and administration to ensure that we have safe spaces for students' mental health to flourish and to be able to be psychologically sound. So it goes to show that effective psychosocial support requires resources such as trained staff or counselors, access to mental health services, appropriate educational materials, a supportive school environment, and collaboration with peers, parents, and community organizations. It may be a work in progress, but showing up today is an important step in strengthening our commitment to taking care of our students' mental health and our own. Thank you, teachers, for listening in. A self-assessment will be posted in the coming days for you to reflect on as part of your journey towards peace, positivity, and productivity. A certificate of participation will be emailed to you once we receive your self-assessment. Once again, I am Bianca Reyes from Miriam College. Miriam College commits to journey with the Quezon City LGU and QC Schools Division Office in taking care of our teachers. After all, QC teachers tayong lahat.